And now let's talk about subcultures. Now, what does that mean exactly? Is a subculture? Subcultures, if you look at this picture, you could see that there are different subcultures from these group of high school students. Here we have one that is a rebel, one that belongs to the subculture of athletes, one that belongs to the subcultures of being an outsider, one belonging to the preppies or the preps, and then you have the geeks or nerds or academics. So here we have different subcultures, and high schools are a good representation of the different subcultures that exist. Band geeks, jocks, maybe you might even have gang members. Those are all different subcultures. A subculture, a group in society that shares written rules, mores, folkways, the unwritten rules, and then they have their own values, which equals to positive and negative sanctions, right? A thumbs up or a thumbs down. They usually have their own argots, which is a specialized language, meaning the athlete is going to talk about things from sports that maybe we don't know because we don't know all the plays that they use in sports. Examples: any job and any hobby is a subculture. Dentists, border patrol agents, cops, chiropractors, those are all different little subcultures that exist, or the different cultures from high school. So that's what a subculture is. It's a group of people with their own set of written rules or maybe unwritten rules and their own values. Now, the opposite of a subculture is a counterculture. And a counterculture is a subculture who oppose the aspect of the larger culture, meaning they live by their own set of rules, and maybe they would give a thumbs up to maybe that something everybody else in society would give a thumbs down to. What's an example of a counterculture? Well, there's a group of motorcycle clubs. They call themselves the One Percenter Clubs. What does that mean, the One Percenter Clubs? Well, 99% of people who ride motorcycles are respectable, law-abiding citizens. 99%. So they're telling you they're the other 1%. The Hells Angels, they started in California, now they're worldwide. The Mongols, they started in Southern California, but now they're also worldwide as well. Then you have the Outlaws. They started in the Midwest, but now they're worldwide. And then you have the Bandidos. They are started in Texas, but they're also worldwide. But these are countercultures, and they are 1%er clubs, and they're telling you that they would give a thumbs up to maybe something that everyone else in society would give a thumbs down to. Here we see some Hells Angels from all over the globe: France, New Zealand, Holland, Australia, Chile, Italy, Ontario, Canada, Finland, Northern Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Hanover, Germany. All of these are an example of a counterculture. Now let's talk about something called cultural diffusion. And what is cultural diffusion? The process of a cultural idea spreading from group to group. As cultures come in contact with one another, remember we had said they're willing to change the material culture quicker than the non-material culture. The items, for example, he's going to wear a turban, he's going to ride a camel, but he likes the idea of using a cell phone. Here's a Native American. He's going to dress the way that he wants to. He wants to preserve his lifestyle, but he likes the idea of the rifle. And remember, when two cultures come in contact with each other, they are more likely to change the material culture over the non-material, which would be their beliefs and their values. Now, one of the things that's going on is something called globalization, the worldwide integration of cultures through trade and the exchange of ideas. For example, you could get sushi in grocery stores now. Now, that wasn't the case 50 years ago, 40 years ago, even 30 years ago. But today, sushi is very common, and a lot of people have tried sushi. Maybe you're going to get on the phone and talk to customer service. Your phone call could go all the way to India. And these girls are going to go to a concert and they're going to go see their favorite artist, Hannah Montana. So that's an example of globalization. McDonald's has now gone around the world. And also, Starbucks has gone around the world. These are examples of globalization. Finally, let's talk about high culture, artifacts worthy of academia. We're talking about ancient Egypt, the type of culture that would be put in museums and put in textbooks. The Olmecs from Central America. Then there is something referred to as folk culture. Now, folk culture is simply artifacts of a specific community or ethnic group. These would be things that you might see at your grandmother's house. So if we took the examples of a Hispanic grandmother or a Mexican grandmother, maybe you might see a molcajete, right? Or candles. Maybe this is an example of a counterculture. Many times when they break into the homes of a drug dealer, which is a counterculture, they're going to see these statues. Going back to your grandmother's home, this is to make tortillas. These are all examples of folk culture. Finally, let's talk about pop culture. This is immediate and modern, brought by the mass media. We're talking about music. We're talking about clothing, things you can see on TV, the WWE, or maybe Rihanna. Pop culture, it's quick, it's modern, it's brought to us by mass media. And that is an example of pop culture. You have an example of folk culture, and then you have an example of high culture. And that is the end of Chapter 2, Culture. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.